everyone, and welcome back to the China EV show. I've got a special edition for you here. I'm actually out of my house for once, and I've come to Chengdu, where they have the Chengdu Auto Show 2023. So I've come here to see what's going on. Traditionally, these kind of second tier motor shows aren't really that big in terms of announcements, but following the Shanghai Auto Show this year, when all the Chinese brands showed up and some of the BBA brands, for example, were a bit shocked. So I think now the dynamic has shifted, and these, even though they're kind of smaller motor shows, people are realizing they have to give more to really try harder. So that means that these second tier, if you will, motor shows are still very important, and still some stuff does happen. And having been around today, I can see that a lot of the luxury foreign brands are trying very hard. They're having some very interesting announcements, some China market specific news. The Chinese brands didn't really have a huge amount of exciting news today because they actually brought a lot to the Shanghai Auto Show. So that's where they used a lot of their big announcements. So now, later on in the year, they're kind of like cooling down a bit. Also, a lot of brands use their own days. There's Nio Day, there's a ZEEKR Day, there's a Bilibili Day, where they prefer to use these platforms and not share the spotlight with other brands. Kind of control the conditions for their announcements, and then have the right environment in which to bring out the new products or release their new services or whatever, which seems to be an increasingly popular thing. I've been walking around today, and I'm going to bring you some of the highlights of what I think are the main points from this year's Chengdu Auto Show. For me, there was a lot of, besides the points I just mentioned, PHEVs are very popular now. Obviously we're going through the electrification, but it's not as simple as let's all buy an electric car right now. It's a transition that will take some time. Some people should still get IC because it's better for them. Some people should get electric, pure, and some people could maybe go in between, maybe get a plug-in hybrid. But a lot of the brands released, from what I saw today, there was a lot of plug-in hybrids being released at very good prices. I think they're a great option. I have a couple of friends who have plug-in hybrids, and I think they're a great option because for your commutes or when you're living in the city, you drive around, use the battery, you charge at work, you charge at home. There's no need to go to the gas station and fill up with gas. There's no need to make the pollution even worse in the cities by driving around and burning fuel. So I think these are a really great option. Sometimes the ranges aren't great or the gasoline tanks aren't massive, but from what I saw today, most of them offered a range, or combined range, of over 1,000 kilometers, and even a pure electric range of over 100 kilometers. So that's definitely enough for your daily drive. So I think, why not have both? Why not, for your daily drive, maybe charge once a week, you can use your plug-in hybrid, you can use the battery, and then if you're going to go away, you're going to go on a longer drive, you can use the gas, use a combination of both, and really get the most out of this car. And another big thing which is being pushed is the smart vehicles, these super connected autonomy. Jiyue, Jili and Baidu's brand was here today with their 01. I was very impressed by that car. I think I'll make a separate video on that, so please follow us for more information on that. Please let me know your comments. Did you like it? You think it's a good idea, a bad idea? And what's going to be coming next for some of these brands? Maybe some of these brands aren't even going to exist anymore. I guess we'll find out. Coming up to the Jiyue stand, Jiyue Auto. They churn out products like they're going out of fashion. And today is no different. They have their L6, Galaxy L6, which is this guy right here, behind these gentlemen. And this is a very generic looking sedan. Of course, this is the first plug-in hybrid we're going to see today, with a combined range of over 1,300 kilometers. It's very hard to keep up with Jiyue's products. They do release a lot of them, but I did say it was a generic looking car, and that is kind of Jiyue's strength, because they make cars which are very inoffensive, and they are good value, and they are loved by a very large amount of people, so they usually sell huge volumes of their cars. And this one might be the same, I guess. What do you think? Do you think this is a winner? Let me know in the comments below. Must be time for another hybrid. So this is BYD, who of course don't make any gasoline-only cars, but they do make a lot of hybrids, and plug-in hybrids, as I mentioned, are very popular. They sell a lot of them. This is the BYD Seal DMI, starting at 176,000 yuan, more or less, and going up to around 250,000 yuan. It's a little bit longer, about 20 centimeters longer than the original Seal. As I mentioned, it was a plug-in hybrid. So the top of the range model, just under 250,000 yuan, has a 1.5 litre turbo and a battery which can give it up to 200 kilometers of pure electric range. So it's a force to be reckoned with. I had to come and have a look at the old Seagull. This looks like a special edition one. Bit Dragon Ball-esque, that little thing on the side. Top Boy, whatever that means. Couldn't get the IP, well, it doesn't matter. It's a very jazzy looking Seagull. A hot hatch. So I move from BYD here, and opposite we have its brand Fang Cheng Bao, which has just began pre-sales of its first car, a plug-in hybrid, another one, the Bao 5, ranging from around 300 to 400,000 yuan. It's built on BYD's new B DMO platform, and as you can see, they're kind of going for an off-road look. There's definitely some Defender in that design somewhere. A very high ground clearance, so actually might be decent off the road. Quite a nice presence. And it's a PHEV with a full tank and a fully charged battery will take you over 1,200 kilometers. So it might be just the thing for driving into the wilderness. And of course, as it's an off-road vehicle, you've got to have your spare tire on the back. And I know what you're thinking, Toby, what is the speed that this gets to 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in? Well, I don't need to tell you because it's written on the car. 4.8 seconds, exactly. So you'll never need to remember that if someone asks you. Okay, so this is the Yuanwang, which you've seen before, but now we're given a closer look at it. This is their U8, which is kind of like their Halo car. Over $1 million yuan for these. And it's a BYD brand, and they're definitely going in the premium end. I just wanted to have a look at to show you these wheels. So these are the wheels that they use when the car wants to turn on the spot. I think you've seen it before on some kind of like remote controlled cars and things. I actually quite like the design. I think they're probably a little bit overboard on the lights and the grille. It's a very large grille. Aimed squarely at the Defender target audience, I think. The cars are very popular here. So this is an alternative, actually more expensive, but I believe you get a lot more. Huge, huge car. Massive boot. Nice second row seats, infotainment. Another PHEV. PHEV is the choice for outdoor activities. And the combined range will be over 1,000, which is a kind of standard. But I think for a car, again, this heavy and this massive, that's quite an impressive feat. Okay, so I'm at the tank stand, and this is the Tank 400 HI4T. Again, another PHEV. Began pre-sales today. Starting at around 285,000 yuan, over 400 horsepower, so it's not bad. You can see a trend in the vehicles I've been looking at today. There's definitely been some emphasis towards off-roaders and especially hybrids, plug-in hybrids. This one is available in an ICE version, a good kind of budget price option for those who are looking for an off-road vehicle. Alright, so I'm definitely in the busy hall now with all the EV brands. We've got Nio, we've got Hi-Fi, we've got a ZEEKR, we've got an IM here. Nio didn't have any big announcements this week. there was rumors that they would release their new EC6 with the updated platform and the LiDAR tech. But because this one, this ES6 is doing so well now, at least this is what I think. This car is doing so well now in the market. Nio sold over 20,000 units last month, totally I mean. This could be the change in their fortune. I don't think they want to bring out their new EC6 yet to disrupt the momentum of this ES6 car. They're essentially quite similar, just one's a fastback and one is a normal SUV shape. So I'm thinking that they pushed it back now to their Nio Day later this year. Perhaps they'll launch it then, depending on how the sales of the Nio ES6 go. ZEEKR stand, no news from ZEEKR. They still have the same three models, the X, the 001 and the 009. Again, what a really weird lineup naming they have. Seems like quite a common theme, and that's not even an English Chinese translation thing. This one is called X, this one is called 001, and that one is called 009. Maybe the X is branded differently because it's the car that they will take to Europe. So we'll see about that in the future. YUE have released their Gaoshan PHEV, which is a MPV, kind of like a business MPV with super comfortable back seats to compete with the Toyota Alphard. This category is quite popular in China at the moment. Historically dominated by Toyota, by Mercedes, but now we see brands like YUE, and we see brands like ZEEKR 009 is a very similar one. Same big grille at the front, kind of like a passenger-oriented experience. Nice second row seats, which make the experience, well, you can see how it makes the experience. This guy is absolutely loving it. He's absolutely loving it in there. So it's a plug-in hybrid, but the battery is just under 38 kilowatt hours for 150 kilometers in pure electric mode. So Volkswagen have dedicated a stand entirely to their new energy vehicles, ID range, and they're kind of like hybrids. But I think you'll notice, the one thing you notice is how empty it is. There's not really a huge amount of interest here, unfortunately. And I think with the recent purchase of some of Xiaopeng's equity, people have lost a bit of faith because they've just admitted that their electric products are not good enough. So why would you go and buy one of their IDs after they did something like that, when they even admit themselves that their electric products need to be improved way beyond where they are at now. At the BMW stand, BMW Mini next to each other. No ice cream this auto show, which is a shame, but there you go. I think they learned their lesson. They did bring their new i7 out, which is just here, which is made in China now. Again, they're pushing their electric cars a lot. The previous 7 Series are very popular in China. The question is, will consumers here enjoy this Again, we can see the length of the BMW stand is absolutely massive. It stretches basically half the hall. If you include Mini, it's almost 3/4 of a hall. So Haval brought out their new Raptor, and guess what? It's a PHEV, capable capable of somewhere between 100 kilometers and 145 kilometers of pure electric range. Again, for the outdoorsy types who are looking for something to go camping with, picnicking. So I'm at the Jiyue stand, which is the JV between Baidu and the Geely Group. And this gives you an idea of the kind of idea they're going for. Look at that. A big robot hand coming down to poke you in the eye, which is kind of what they're about. They're about the machine element, or rather should I say the technology element, in that they've kind of like designed this brand, or they've launched this brand together with Baidu, which makes sense. They've launched this brand to really throw in as much tech as possible into the vehicles and make it as big of a user experience as possible. I mean, the car looks fine. It's very generic looking. Inside we've got that gives you an idea of what we're talking about. One massive long screen in the middle for all of your entertainment needs or navigation. And yeah, they're hoping to deliver in the last quarter of this year. And actually, this is actually not a bad looking car. All right, it's not very outstanding. This is the 01. I think whoever's naming cars at Geely needs to be fired, because their ZEEKR has the 001, Lynk & Co has the 01, and now Jiyue has a 01 as well. I think it looks a bit like a Lotus actually, kind of like the back end. But I think it's not going to be the exterior design which really impresses people. It's going to be the user experience, the level of intuitiveness that the experience brings, the level of connectedness. Autonomous driving will probably be expected here. Lots of ADAS features, nice little spoiler which pops up there. Let's have a look inside, shall we? Before I got in, I actually realised that it has electric doors. Not all the way. Electric doors, I think, are a bit divisive. Some people love them, some people don't. Again, the big screen. Steering wheel looks nice. They've got some games controllers here. So obviously you'll be able to play games with your friends on this huge screen you have in the front. Dual charging pads. Actually, this is a nice design. I really like this. Good sound system. Let's have a look in the back. Back also has electric doors. I'm not sure I would personally opt for those. Back seat is kind of quite a standard experience. We have the center console here for controlling the climate, separate climate in the back seats, with a little LED, 2 Type-C charging, rapid charging there. So they're really targeting this on the tech-savvy consumer. The consumer that really cares about maximum tech in their cars, and I think they take it much further than the likes of Xiaopeng. This is actually really a really nice balance. It's not too much. I'll be interested to see how this screen works with driver navigations. And let's have a look. All right, so this is going to be a game, isn't it? They've got going on here. Okay, let's have a look. Let's just pick this. Oh, they've got BMW here, eh? We should have a JI YUE in there. Okay, so let's see what is going on. Oh, no, we can't play it. Uh, 6K screen there. That's massive. That's massive. Now, that's all for today, folks. Thanks for watching. Be sure to give us a like and a subscribe, of course. I've been Toby, and I'll see you next time on the China EV Show.